I'd like to welcome you to Current Teaching Practices. I've got the honor of teaching this class for the last 30 years, and each time I teach it, it's a little bit different because things are oftentimes changing in our field of education. What I'm going to try to do in this short video is to cover all the different things that you probably need to know to be successful in our course. I always wanted to know 5 questions whenever I started a different graduate course. And so these are the 5 questions that we're going to look at. How do you navigate this course? Who's in the course with me? Who's this teacher as a person? What will I be doing in the course? And then how do I get an A? So let me answer those 5 questions for you. First of all, to navigate your log into the Canvas course 850-99, and you're going to see a number of buttons on the side of the course, and the first one is the home button. There on that page you'll find a brief overview of our focus. You'll see a little bit about me and my background, and then you'll also find where you can download the text for free on the home page. So it is the introductory page for the course. The second button on the left are your announcements. Every so often, to keep us on track, I'll be sending out announcements that will summarize the past module and to focus in on the next one. You'll see in the announcements a number of cartoons. At times you'll see some videos, and so each announcement's a little bit different than the previous one. On the third button you'll find the syllabus, and there if you want to download it you can, or you could simply scroll down and read the syllabus there on the page. Below the syllabus you'll find all your assignments and the dates that they're due. And as you get them completed, you'll notice that your grade will be there, as well as the rubric and the narrative comments. So this is a page where you can keep track of all that is happening and what you get accomplished. The syllabus is what we call an outcomes-based syllabus, and all of the objectives we will cover and we will test to. So if you want to get an idea of the different ideas and the things we'll cover, you might look over the objective section. If you're new to Canvas, also in the first module you'll find a review of the Canvas program, system management program, that will kind of give you a run through of all the different buttons and how you can navigate the course. If you've used Canvas before, you might skip this. The fourth button is your biggest one, where you'll be most of the time. It will list all of your modules. If it's a summer class, they'll be listed by day. If it's a semester class, they'll be by week. But here's located everything you're going to need to successfully complete the course. In the module section, you'll see the 8 modules listed, and you'll click on there and you'll open them up, and below each module you'll find, as for example in day 6, 7, 8 lesson planning, classroom technology, there you'll find a whole bunch of different articles, research briefs or blog posts that will help expand the ideas that we're talking about in that module. They are what we call quick reads. Takes you usually 3 to 5 minutes to read each. When you open a module, as we see in day 2 and 3, the very first thing you're going to see is the text. It is free. You can do it by chapter just by reading that section, or you can download the text, as we'll show you later, in its entirety to put it into iBook form if you like. Next is the required narrated video that we ask you to watch, and then there'll be some articles that we'll ask you to look at, and various videos that you might find interesting. These, you don't have to watch them all, but sometimes you get on a topic that you'd like to explore more, and they're listed there for you. When it comes to your assignments, the very last thing listed is the assignment drop box, and there you'll find the question template that you download. It's a Word document, and you simply add your answers on that template and then submit. So each module is about the same, so once you complete the first one, it's pretty easy to navigate the other ones. The text is found in each module, so you don't really have to download anything. You can read it there in the module, or you can download the entire book. The book is used for 2 of my classes, this one, and then also Trends and Issues 843. You can download it as a PDF file or a iBook file where you can put on any reader. In this text, we're going to look at just 6 chapters. The other class, 843, will look at the other chapters. So in taking the 2 classes, you'll read the entire book. In the narrated PowerPoints, you'll find in each module, we're asked that if it's a new topic to you, to listen to it. They run from anywhere from a half an hour to an hour long. And if you already are very familiar with the topic, you might use the PowerPoint slides and just review those and see what you need to go back and listen to. But you can download the PowerPoint slides and use them for your final exam if you like. There's also some background videos listed. These sometimes are TED Talks or different videos that will supplement the ideas that you found in the text and give you a broader perspective of the issues that and activities that we're going to talk about. As far as the activities that you're going to do for each module, those are found in the assignment drop box, and there you download the word processing or word template, and then just simply type in your answers, and it's a very easy way to submit and stay on task. To submit, you simply would use the submit button on the right side of the drop box. You'll find that the template is also listed here. You can download and add your answer to, but when you submit, you'll find that it will tell you when it was turned in at what time, and it will give you the rubric so you can look at how you'll be graded. And usually these are due at midnight on the day that the assignment is due. Below each module, you'll find, as we said, the quick reads, and these are very short articles that expand upon the different topics, and they are usually 1 to 2 pages, and also they provide little links in there that if you want more information, you can click on them and it will take you to a website that will give you even more information for that topic. To keep you organized, the very first item in each of the modules is a to-do list, and you can follow that for each of the modules. Make sure you get everything done, or our class mascot in all of the assignment areas will talk to you. It's an avatar that will give you hints and give you ideas to submit or research different topics. So you might listen to our class mascot. And for each assignment, you have a rubric which is provided to you for every assignment, so you can see how I'm going to grade it. And then also I provide a very detailed narrative of what you submit. If you take the time to write it and do it, I'm going to take the time to read it. So you'll be surprised at how much detail I give you on your assignments. As you complete each of the assignments, you'll notice that you can go to the grade section, which is again listed on the left side of your Canvas module, and you can keep track of your grades. Shouldn't be any secrets as to how you're doing. And if for some reason you don't like your grade, you can always redo it just once. The people in your class are listed under people, and you can see who's in your class with you. In fact, the very first assignment that you're going to do is to introduce yourself and then to comment on other people. And so this personal introduction box, you'll get to know the various people in your class just by reading through that. As for me, I'll be asking that you watch the personal introduction PowerPoint found in the first module. And I always ask you in your introduction to give us one true and one false statement. For me, these are the two that I asked for this class. What is true? Did I flunk the third grade? And I've been to Russia twice to tour and teach in various schools. Or I've biked across Kansas, bungee jumped off a bridge in West Virginia, and I placed second in a Fort Scott mud wrestling contest. What do you think is true about me? Well, find out by watching the personal intro video. The next question that you always want to know, what are you going to be doing in the class? Well, this 3-hour graduate class, we're going to look at the research of effective teaching and what methodologies seem to work according to what our research says. And we're going to explore a number of classroom practices that will be effective in certain types of situations. So it's a broad-based view of what's happening in our classrooms in America. To get your grade, we use a point system for this class. 340 points is your total. You're going to have 8 chapter activities for each of the modules. They're each worth 25 points. And for each of those 8 modules, you're also going to have a discussion board, which you're going to respond to each person's post. And that is the bulk of the class. At the very end, you'll take a final exam, but it is no secret because testing shouldn't be a secret activity. You know exactly what's on it. In fact, we as a class are going to kind of make a cheat sheet so that you know everything is going to be on there. And then just as I evaluated you, you're going to evaluate me and the course. When we look at the chapter activities, as we mentioned before, for each of the modules, you'll be downloading the Word document where you write your responses on there. It expands as you write, so don't worry about limiting looking at the spaces. And it's an easy way to handle the chapter activities. If you're asked to write a paragraph, typically, being an old English teacher, I always loved the 3/8 paragraph so that you have some meat to your answers. In fact, 3/8 and the very first sentence is your topic sentence where you state your position, you state your various points that you're going to cover in that paragraph. And then your second and third sentences is your first reason, fourth and fifth is your second reason, and sixth and seventh is your third. And for each of those following sentences in there, you have some sort of explanation or documentation so that you provide some meat. And then your last sentence is your closure. So at least as a minimum, we would want to have 8 sentences in each of your responses or more. It just gives you an idea to structure your paragraphs. You'll also be involved in a number of different activities where you're going to apply the material in there to your classroom or your future classroom. These activities will vary. And for example, you're going to explore your beliefs of education, your aims of education, come up with a personal philosophy. Both of these are activities, and I'll share the results with the class as we see the individual responses means being different. The quick reads follow each of the modules, as I mentioned, and there's hundreds of them in this course. I don't expect you to read them all, but for each of the modules, you're going to find at the end, you're going to have to respond to 5 of them, how you might implement that idea. So as you look through them and read them, pick out 5 that you think would work for your teaching situation, and there all we'll be asking that you do in the activity is to list the title of the article, and in one sentence you'll simply talk about the potential use in your classroom, how you'll potentially use it in your teaching situation. You'll also be exploring, as the book is organized by maxims, by one-sentence statements that summarize the idea. And so to develop that power of synthesizing information, we're going to ask that you synthesize the module in one maxim, in one sentence, and then provide an explanation for your maxim. And I've done this for so long that I've really found none over the years to be the same. We have, as we read the material and explore them, we have so many different orientations to it that the maxims are always different. And I collect those and I'll post those in the next announcement so you can see what everybody said was their maxim for the different module. For each of the activities, you have, again, the rubric that will be available to you as you submit the information. So use it to kind of grade yourself. And then I'll be giving you a narrative to follow that. The second thing you'll be doing, as we mentioned, were 8 discussion boards. And for each of our 8 discussion boards, there are always questions. We'll give you at least 3 questions that you can choose from to answer, and you choose one to answer, and then that gives us some diversity in that discussion board. And then I'll ask that you respond to at least 5 other posts with a detailed response where you further the discussion. And I'll simply want you to go beyond saying I simply agree or disagree. I want you to provide some beef in there as to why you agree or disagree. And then finally, you'll take a final exam. Again, if you look at the major objectives of the course, that is your exam. And again, we'll be doing a STAD cooperative learning exercise on Google Docs, and where we're going to provide answers to each other for the different objectives. And so there shouldn't be anything that you don't know going into that final exam. And here again is our cheat sheet, the STAD activity, where we'll all be putting in answers that I ask that usually you answer 2 or 3 of the questions for others to look at, and so you don't have to answer them all. But that will be your cheat sheet as you take your final exam on the last day. So basically, as you look at the procedure, if we're in a summer class, your first day, or if you're in a semester class, your first week, usually you read the text, look at the supporting websites, you watch the narrative lecture, and then you look at some supplemental videos and review the quick read articles. In essence, you're going to acquire the knowledge base needed to respond on the second day to the activities and the questions, where you construct your answers and you write your article critique. And then on the third day, you can submit third week, you submit your questions, chapter activities, and then you post your position paragraph on the discussion board. And if if you're going to do option your complete your quick positions. And then last, you're going to respond to other students' paragraphs and articles on the discussion board, and then we'll start a new module. So basically the instructional design builds upon your reading, watching, and then responding and analyzing issues and trends and that are happening in our American school as far as teaching activities. If you're going to be late, and I know life happens, summer gets and even semester gets a little wild and hairy at times, and so if you're going to be late, just simply notify me and try to come up with an original excuse, and I just know life happens. I do advise that you set enough time to handle the course in the summer. It's probably at least 3 hours a day. Because in a regular semester class, you'd be attending class at least 3 hours and then doing a couple hours of homework. So at least minimum is 3 to 5 hours to make sure you successfully complete all the assignments in a timely manner. If you attendance is really basically getting your assignments done, and so if I have no contact with you for at least one full module, I'll try to get back in contact with you to see if there's a problem. But that's how we take attendance. So stay up with it and try to get things done on time. I plan to have a great time teaching this course. I always do. I love interacting with you and you giving us ideas as you post your different responses. And so I'm going to have a good time and learn things. I hope you do too. So get busy.